Hi everyone, welcome to Intro to Disease. I'm Sarah Shoemaker and I'm the instructor for the course, and I just wanted to introduce myself and give you a quick tour of our Brightspace page so that you use it correctly. So first things first, day one, you should start at this welcome page. So this is the home page for the course. This is the visual table of contents. This actually I think is going to open up in a pop-up window, but you can cancel out of it and just go straight here. So every week will be set up similarly. After this first day, you can start doing the week 1 and then even the week 2 assignments. They'll always start with a week at a glance section, or a WAG, as some people like to call it. So for day 1, the 5 things that you need to do: you need to download and print the course syllabus. I say print it so you can have it handy, so you can reference things. The due dates in this class are every Friday at midnight, so that keeps it pretty steady. But if you want to reference, the grade policies, it's a really helpful document to have on hand and not have to click and go find. But if you ever need to find it, it's always here in the welcome section, right down here. You're watching my welcome video now, hopefully the one that I sent in your email, but it's also here, going to be here on the Brightspace page. Make sure you get the textbook and register for PlayPosit, which is an external website that I link to for all the lecture videos. And you have to create an account. It's free, but just create an account with your North Country login and email information, and that way I can track what videos you viewed and give you grades for them. It's sort of my version of attendance in an online class. In person, if you were coming to lecture, I check that you're there, you stayed for the lecture, and this way I can just record that you've at least viewed the lecture material for the class. And then lastly, you'll introduce yourself in a Google Slides that I've prepared, a little introduction of myself as an example. So I just want to quickly go through the syllabus. So if you click here, it'll open in this window. I do recommend that you download it and save it to your computer or print it out for reference. This is the textbook. You can buy it at the bookstore or you can buy it elsewhere. I also have some on-campus office hours listed, but I'm also very open to appointments, virtual Zoom office hours for my online students and in-person students. Anytime, just shoot me an email if you want to meet, if you have questions. I'm going to give you the highlights view of the syllabus, just highlight a few things, but I do expect you to read the whole thing and be familiar with it. I'm scrolling down to grade percentages, the course evaluation. So this is the breakdown of the course evaluation. So there are 5 different components. One is watching those course videos. So some of them are lecture videos that I've created. Some of them are videos of TED Talks or from a great course that I like. And some are playlists of videos from various YouTube science educators. So there's probably a couple hours of videos to watch each week. Then there are also weekly quizzes. The quizzes are pretty short. They're mostly vocabulary based on that chapter and lecture content. And they're usually like 15 to 20 multiple choice questions. And you take it in Brightspace. Boom. Simple. You'll notice the bulk of the grades, 40% of your grade in this class, is actually based on weekly discussion. So I'm going to talk about the format of those. But that is a very important part of the grade. Being an online class, I think it's really important to engage with the material, show that you're engaging with the material and that you're processing it, you're understanding it, you're questioning it. And so that's why it's such a bulk of the grade. Then there's also going to be a midterm and final exam. They're relatively small percentages of the grade, but they are multiple choice tests in Brightspace. I do accept late work for late credit, so don't panic if you're having a rough week. Do let me know, keep me posted, and I'll remind you of this policy. basically my philosophy is better late than never, but best on time. So on time gets full credit, late gets late credit, and there's, staged late credit there. Academic integrity, I guess I'll touch on this. Being an online class, I try to be clear that the tests are open note, open book, and so are the quizzes. I can't proctor or monitor you for that, and so I'm okay with you using your resources, the notes and lectures and quizzes and textbook for the course. I am not okay with you using Google. I'm not okay with you using ChatGPT or any AI. You are not to ask some web browser or computer for the answer, but you are allowed to look things up in your own notes, in your own files that you have created. It's kind of the distinction there. If I do find that students are violating the academic integrity policy, using ChatGPT to generate their written responses or something like that, there will be disciplinary action. So just, honestly engage in the class. Please do read this a little bit about email etiquette. It really helps when you communicate effectively through email. And so there are some tips there. And then lastly, here is just the overview of the due dates for the class. So due dates are always going to be Friday nights. Everything's due Friday night. If Friday night is not a good time of the week for you, then do it by Wednesday night. Do it by Sunday. Do it whatever night of the week. It'll always be posted with at least 1 week ahead of schedule for you to get started on. Hopefully even more than that. So if you want to get ahead, if I have future weeks posted, you absolutely can get ahead. So that's just sort of an overview for you. Okay, back to scrolling up to the page, going back to this welcome section, which actually gives me the whole table of contents here. I'll go ahead and click on week 1. So once you've done all of these things and read the instructions and registered for PlayPosit and introduced yourself, created an introduction slide in my introduction Google Slides, then you can move on to week 1. And you'll see week 1 looks very similar. There's a week at a glance. I give you little tips about what we're learning, a list of the things to do, and then down here are all the links to do them. So when you click on this link, this will actually take you to the PlayPosit video itself, just directly to the correct video to watch. You'll watch it, and your grade will be recorded in PlayPosit, and I'll check it there, and I will put it in the grade book here. You can also print off, if you click this link right here, it will open the lecture slides that I use in my lecture video. So you can print them, or you can download them and take notes on them, which is really helpful. And once you've completed this, you can check this little box right here so that you can sort of check off, okay, I've done that. And you don't have to go back to PlayPosit or remember whether you did it or not. So it's just like a helpful little feature to be able to manually check off what you've done so that you know. So chapter 1 and 2 lecture videos. These supplemental videos are just short YouTube videos that can also be additionally helpful. They're not in PlayPosit. I'll show you. It's just a page with lists all these links here, and it tells you how short they are. So if there are certain topics that are really interesting to you or really confusing to you, you want to learn more about, a lot of them are animated because that's fun. And here's the Med School for Everyone case study video for you to watch. Remember, when you're doing the PlayPosit videos, make sure that you watch it all the way to the end in order for you to get the full credit for completing the completion credit. Sometimes I have little poll questions, so you have to answer those in order to get that credit. If there's questions like that have like a multiple choice question that pops up and you get it wrong, don't worry, that doesn't affect your video grade. And then the discussion. So I do want to talk a little bit about the discussion. So when you click on the discussion, it'll take you to this page. It looks like very few instructions. That's because the instructions are kind of long, so I put them in a document. So the basic instructions each week is for you to post one question and at least one response. What do I mean by one question and one response? You need to click on discussion forum guidelines to read about that. Oh, and I guess it'll download them to your computer, and then you can open them up as a Word document. You can save them if you want. These are the instructions. So I found that it's a lot more interesting. We get a lot more interesting discussion when students actually pose questions. When you think about the material and you ask questions, and I don't mean like questions that have like a multiple choice test question. I mean open-ended questions, things that don't have a right answer. Got some really interesting questions last semester when I did it this way, students asking really sort of like kind of philosophical questions about the material. And then students responding to those questions with their, their opinions, their ideas about, and then even some of their research. Like somebody might ask, like, oh, like when will we have artificial kidneys? Do you think we'll ever have artificial kidneys for people? And then other people, do the deep dive on the internet and they find examples of case studies of trials of different artificial kidney devices and sharing those and talking about those. So it gets really interesting. And then also I'm hoping to chime in a little bit more in discussions this semester as well and share my knowledge to help answer your bigger picture questions. So really do put some time and energy into crafting your discussion posts. You are required to do at least one question and at least one response each week, but you can do more. I also have some things in here about what not to post. So definitely check out these guidelines and consider them each week before you post. Now you'll notice that you will only be able to read other people's posts after you make your own post. So you have to start a new thread, ask your question, post your question, and then you'll be able to read what other people have posted and respond. Do not leave this discussion post to the last minute because you do have to respond to your classmates. So you need to give your classmates time to respond. So please don't log in and just start doing all the work on Friday afternoon. And that's it. That's I think the course. So if you have any questions, let me know. Otherwise, go ahead and dive right in.